All right, guys, so we've got some big news in the MMO space today. NCSoft has just announced that Blade and Soul Neo is coming to global soon. They just made this announcement today, and I'm bringing you this video to kind of break things down a little bit and also share some news in regards to an exclusive interview that one of the websites had with the new president of NC America. I hope I got that right. Blade and Soul Neo is coming to global very soon. And if you're not familiar with Blade and Soul Neo, what it is TLDR, general basic breakdown is that it is a remastered version of the classic Blade and Soul. Now, there are some distinct differences between the classic version and the Neo version, but the Neo version is honestly, it's just supposed to be a better version, okay? It's supposed to be a better version, so like a relaunch of the game. So there's a lot of people excited about it, and if you're not familiar with Blade and Soul at all, it is a martial arts like MMORPG. I shouldn't say martial arts because it's not all martial arts. So you have your typical assassin, warrior, you know, you do have kung fu masters and whatnot. So a lot of people, it was originally kind of coined as a martial arts MMORPG, and I think that's mainly because of the combat system, which the combat system for Blade and Soul is widely known to be one of the greatest combat systems of all time. It's kind of like the Tekken of MMORPGs when it comes to the combat. So a lot of people are super excited. I'm super excited to try this. But again, TLDR, the reason why it didn't work out, a lot of issues with the monetization and the direction of the game, not super good. Hopefully Neo is a better version of it. And we're going to find out pretty soon because this game is set to release globally very soon. Now, they did not actually announce an official release date, but they will be having some follow-up announcements very soon in regards to the actual launch. Now, reason why I'm speculating, and a lot of us are speculating, that the game is coming out very soon is because they have started the pre-register event, right? So pre-registration is open. If you'd like to pre-register, I will have links in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Not sponsored, by the way. If you want to pre-register, go ahead and click on the link below. I will have that in the description for you. But the pre-registration period ends on the 24th of February. Now, most MMORPGs that come out, when they have a pre-registration period, the pre-registration is up until the actual launch. Now, for me, I think I'm also a little bit more inclined to believe that this game could actually come out next month because I have been in touch with NCSoft, and I want to be very clear here. They've never told me any release date, launch date. I have not gotten any juice ahead of time, okay? But I have been in touch with them about some possible interviews that I could have when they were ready with Blade and Soul Neo. So, yeah, all I could say is based off of some of the conversations I've had with them, again, they've never disclosed any information to me. I'm kind of led to believe that the launch is going to be very soon. Okay, but who knows? You know, maybe the pre-registration is until the 24th and the game comes out 2 or 3 months later. Regardless, even if it's a couple of months after, that's still pretty damn soon, especially considering we as MMO players were always like, oh, when's that game coming out? Oh, 7 years later, right? So the fact that we're getting a new MMORPG potentially in the next month, I think is fantastic news. And for me, whether or not this game is good, whether or not it's pay to win, whether or not it's any of those things, I'm just kind of glad that we get to dive into a brand new MMORPG because, I mean, free to play, I think it's going to be free to play. They do have some pre-order packages, but yeah, they have pre-order packages right here, which I was going to get into, but I'm pretty sure the game will be free to play. And if it is, then, you know, you might as well dive into it first day. Why not? But here are the pre-order packages. There's like a $60 one. There is where is it? There's a $30 one and there's a $10 one. And nowhere here do I see any early access that's included. I feel like if they had an early access that was locked behind one of these founder packs, that would be disclosed here. So I'm pretty sure there won't be an early access for that, which is honestly kind of fantastic if you ask me. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share this news with you guys. There's a couple of articles here. I'm not going to bore you guys and go through this specific press release, but I will share a react that I had going over an interview that a website had with JJ, who is the president of NC America. She's pretty much in charge of the global version I think it's called NC America. They've changed their names multiple times, but you'll see in the article. So I'm going to go ahead and play that segment for you guys right now, and I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, and I forgot, if you are interested in checking out Blade and Soul Neo, you want to see what the game is all about, I am going to be streaming the Korean version of it because it's already out in Korea. I'm going to be streaming that version of it on my Twitch, so definitely come stop by my Twitch, drop me a follow, come hang out, check out the game at twitch.tv/CanonXO. Interview. NC America is poised to grow NCSoft's global publishing operations, starting with Blade and Soul Neo in 2025. When it was announced last year that Pearl Abyss's former CEO JJ was leaving the company she helped build, I'll admit I was pretty stunned. I forgot, dude. JJ is with NCSoft. I forgot. That's right. No wonder we're getting this global launch, man. Holy shit. She's a very nice lady, as far as I know. I don't know her personally, but I have met her. So when the announcement came that she was moving from Pearl Abyss to NC America, I had a few questions. One major question that lingered was just what exactly was NC America? We had heard NC America was, all right, good question. Good question. It was also kind of an unexpected, very difficult decision for me. JJ said, she continued, I did a lot of things at Pearl Abyss America, and I'm very proud of my team, X-team there. JJ says, while she wasn't looking for something new, conversations kicked off with NCSoft several months before the decision. NCSoft, over the last few years, has gone through quite a bit of organizational and leadership changes, layoffs across the company as recently as last October, while in 2023, NCSoft West was hit with layoffs that saw 20% of its staff affected. These changes were made with the idea of potentially strengthening its global publishing capabilities, though it has been far from destitute here in the West, thanks to Seattle-based Arena NS Guild Wars 2, which continues to release stellar expansions, including our pick for best expansion 2024, Panther Wilds. However, NCSoft's own developed titles, especially its legacy brands such as Lineage, Blade and Soul, and more, have struggled with a Western audience. This is what JJ was brought on to help bolster. Just so you know, I think JJ did a fantastic job, and it was a big part of BDO maintaining its longevity in the West. I think what she did post Cacao, which from my understanding, it was her that pretty much took over, I guess, with more decision-making roles. I don't know if she entered the scene at that time or she was already there, but then just essentially took on more responsibilities after the partnership with Cacao was over. But when Cacao exited, I'm pretty sure she was a big part of the reason why there were so many good changes that happened post Cacao, because there were a lot of good changes that happened post Cacao. This is not to be confused with Current J, who just, I believe, recently got replaced. Not talking about that. We're talking about the immediately post Cacao era, where the game kind of rebounded with a lot of good changes. Reaching the broader market here in the West for some of the most popular games NCSoft has developed. The NCSoft self-developed titles were not really doing as well as it hoped, or not really meeting NCSoft's expectations. You wonder why. Guys, you wonder why. So basically, there were a lot of discussions about revamping the Western business and re-strategizing the company's Western publishing business. Guys, it's not hard. If you want to be successful in the West, all you have to do is remove pay to win, make it less grindy, and just monetize the shit out of costume. We have a lot of men and women of culture in the West. Majority, I would say. Asian games are fantastic. You just gotta remove the pay to win and monetize the shit out of cosmetics. We are literally telling you guys to take our money. We're literally telling you we will spend lots of money on cosmetics. Give us more of that, and it is a mutual benefit because you will actually net more money doing that. You guys, NCSoft, will actually net more money by monetizing that over vertical progression. I assure you, it's that simple. I know some people in the corpus side of things are probably listening to this and thinking, oh, he's just ignorant and naive. No, motherfucker, I'm right. That's what I am. I'm right. Okay? Monetize fucking cosmetics. Okay? Stop monetizing vertical progression. It's that simple. If League of Legends was pay to win, would people still be playing it today? Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Just Jesus. Would Path of Exile 2 be fucking successful if it were pay to win? Come on, guys. And if we have to meet you guys in the middle, I, on behalf of the Western community, will say the furthest we'll go is a very, very minor one-time purchase for a convenience thing. For example, Path of Exile, one-time purchase to expand storage, and you have it permanently forever across every character. Okay, you want to sell that to us for $10? It's permanent, one time, not even that expensive. Okay, I'll meet you there. We can meet you there, but nothing else. Just monetize the shit on cosmetics. We will buy them. Please let me interview JJ. I want to tell her this in person. I genuinely do. Like, that's the next time. Next time I have an opportunity to interview one of these people, I'm just gonna tell them. I'm just gonna be like, can I please just tell you what the recipe to success is? Like, let me tell, guys. I mean, clearly what you've been doing has not been working in NCSoft. Fucking clearly. Okay. So I was brought on to lead those initiatives, and I actually thought it was going to be a very good challenge for me, for my career, and I also thought it was going to be a very meaningful challenge to me, because NCSoft is a very unique company. They have been around for a while. The uniqueness comes from NCSoft's pedigree as one of the first ever online game developers, launching Lineage in 1998, only a year after NCSoft officially formed. Since then, the company has released incredible, popular, and influential MMOs over the years, finding incredible success across Korea and in other Asian markets. However, it has always struggled to find a solid foothold here in the West. Since then, the company released incredible, popular, influential MMOs over the years, finding incredible success across Korea and Asian markets. I beg to differ. If we're talking about mobile, Miss JJ, and I will say this if I ever got this opportunity to talk, I will fire back, respectfully, of course, but I would fire back saying, ma'am, yes, you guys have killed it when it comes to overall revenue with mobile games, but you can't sit here and honestly tell me NCSoft has been successful in Asian markets. Certainly more successful, I'll give you that, than Western markets. But are you going to really tell me, bro, nobody played Throne, relatively speaking. It had the most lackluster MMORPG launch in the last decade, I would say, for a hyped game, for a flagship. This is going to be the new flagship game for a major company type of game. It had the most lackluster launch in terms of player population that I've seen in recent years. And that's a testament to a lack of success in an unpopular and it attributes to the unpopular opinion that the player base, even in the Asian Korean markets, have of the company. However, it has always struggled. There it is. Okay, this popularity, especially with Lineage, has helped NCSoft boast over 200 million registered players across all their games, with the vast bulk coming from the Lineage series. It's important to note that NC America is not handling the operations of ArenaNet or publishing Guild Wars 2 in the West. That is still technically being handled by NCSoft West, which is a separate entity from NC America. My understanding is that ArenaNet is a separate team, and they pretty much have full reins on how they handle their game, which is why we have not seen any predatory practices in Guild Wars 2 compared to every other NCSoft game. As far as the relationship between NC America and ArenaNet, JJ likens it to be a brother-sister relationship. Interesting. Both of us are under NCSoft and NCSoft's brand, and we're the only two entities operating our games in the West under NCSoft. So I think for now, we are not publishing ArenaNet titles, but we are just now sharing some insights and information, and ArenaNet is taking care of the Guild Wars franchise on their own. Yep. Yet this arrangement still bred confusion about what NC America is and what is going on with NCSoft West. The most important thing to know, however, is that moving forward, NC America is handling the publishing for the Korean developer here in the West, with the exception of ArenaNet's portfolio. Blade and Soul Neo, among other games. Late last year, NCSoft announced it was investing in 2 studios outside their normal MMO wheelhouse. A third-person survival shooter made by a Korean studio, Missile Games, called Time Takers, and Band of Crusaders, a strategy RPG set during the European Middle Ages made by Polish developer Virtual Academy. These partnerships show that NC America and NCSoft, by extension, aren't simply content to rest on the laurels of their previously established brands, but instead are willing to invest in new ideas in studios that have the potential to break through, especially in the Western market. Here's a new idea and concept for you guys. How about you remove pay to win and monetize cosmetics? Release the shit out of the cosmetics, remove the pay to win, and make money off of cosmetics. I assure you, you'll make more money, and I assure you, you will maintain a player base for a longer period of time. I assure you guys, it's that simple. JJ says that there could be even more on the horizon as the months and years go by. We are trying to bring more titles from NCSoft, and one of the goals is also a diversified portfolio, and that's the same with the headquarters because we're so well known for the MMO genre. I think that was a little like a double-edged sword for us. Okay, let's be fair here. NCSoft is pretty well known for MMOs. However, while diversifying the portfolio here is a good thing, it's not going to stop NCSoft and NC America from doubling down on what it does great, MMOs. That's nice to hear. As such, this year we'll see the release of a remastered version of Blade and Soul called Blade and Soul Neo. Here's the announcement trailer. Launched in Korea a few months back, the remaster has seen quite a bit of adoption since its release, according to JJ, and part of announcing this release was to start to bring something to the West that they could do rather quickly. Blade and Soul Neo was actually launched a couple of months ago in Korea first, and actually the Blade and Soul Neo fans in Korea are loving it. And we also play Blade and Soul Neo here at NC America, and we also love it. See, here's the thing. I can't tell if this is cap or not because I haven't played enough. Now that this is announced, I'm going to go back into Neo KR, and I'm going to be playing this, getting the end game so I can form my own opinion and give you guys my take on it. So I'm actually kind of excited to have an opportunity to go back and check things out, because the Westerners that I've talked to, the pros that I've heard were some of the core systems that they've changed. The cons that I've heard is that there isn't enough PvP. It's time-gated PvP, which I also heard to counter that they are looking to change that, and they've taken that feedback at NCSoft. I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. And the second thing is that it is more pay to win. It's more pay to win, certainly than Throne. I feel like there's one more thing. Also, the third thing, they don't like how skills are tied to accessories, whatever that means. I don't know, but I want to play the game to find out myself. All right. My Throne and Liberty Korean guildmates that played Blade and Soul Neo said they were having fun with it. It's actually pretty good early on during the launch phase. Here we are a month or two later, and they've told me recently, damn, there's nothing else to play than Throne, other than Throne right now, because Neo's garbage. That's what some of my Korean guildmates have said. However, there can obviously be a very clear bias that in there, or there can very clearly be a bias there because they're Throne and Liberty Andes, but they told me that it's a lot more pay to win than Throne and Liberty. I'm just telling you guys what I heard. I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just relaying you the shit that I've heard. I want to play the game once again myself, and I will play the game starting this week and figure it out for myself because I have an opportunity to play the game in Korea. So we want to work as fast as we can to bring the titles in. I also love the fact that NCSoft is actually making fucking moves. Okay, whether or not they put out a trash product, I don't know that yet. That remains remains yet to be seen. Jesus, but at least they're getting a shit What other company is about to release 2 MMORPGs in the span of a year? That's kind of fucking nice. 3 in the span of a year, actually. Throne and Liberty, Blade and Soul Neo, and Ion 2. NCSoft is kind of all we fucking have. To the point where people are going to start thinking I'm shilling and I'm a paid shill for NCSoft simply because I keep covering their games. No, motherfucker. It's because no other company is making fucking MMOs. One of the challenges facing many Korean MMOs here in the West is the just sheer difference in consumer expectations when it comes to microtransactions. Yes, and what those microtransactions can provide. We generally abhor anything here in the West that feels even borderline what is perceived to be pay to win, while there are some elements that are just normal and expected in Asian markets. Balancing the two have always been a tough assignment, though it should be noted that JJ has a history of helping a large company navigate such struggles. I will say this. Number 1, it's fake news that Koreans prefer pay to win. Obviously, there are some boomers that have a lot of money that prefer pay to win. Believe it or not, newsflash, there are those people that exist in the West as well. Most people in Korea also do not like pay to win. It's as simple as that. Okay? And I will probably agree that they are more tolerant to certain degrees of pay to win than in the West. I will say that to me is true, in my opinion, my subjective opinion. That is true, but they don't like pay to win either. Okay, I feel like Koreans read this and they're like, "Wait, we don't like it too." I feel like that's what they would say. And the second thing I should note is that even though BDO, just like Throne and Liberty, is objectively, technically pay to win, the pay to win isn't bad, especially when compared to other Korean games. However, JJ, like I mentioned earlier, she did make the game less pay to win after Kakao left. I don't know if they left or I don't know what happened there, but essentially when Kakao exited the scene, the game did get better when it came to the microtransactions / pay to win. And I know JJ had a lot to do with that. And I know JJ has done pretty well, not only for the overall NA global version of the game, but also I thought she did a pretty good job with her content creators as well. Black Desert Online was accused heavily of being overly microtransaction heavy and leaning almost headfirst into pay-to-win territory when it first launched in the West 8 years ago. However, over those years, the pay-to-win elements here in the West were slowly reduced. True, very true. With those microtransactions many times being cosmetic or simply convenience items. Yes, it's hard to say it's completely gone. Yeah. And the amount of microtransactions available in Black Desert has certainly not gone down over the years, but one thing JJ's team at Pearl Abyss did was to help headquarters better understand, what the audience here wanted out of its own store. She has the same task ahead of her here at NC America, especially as more titles are being published in Korea first. While NCSoft's most recent MMORPG, Throne and Liberty, that's us boys, is being published by Amazon here in the West, with that team taking the lead at formulating the microtransactions to be more akin to what we'd expect out here. JJ's team had to do this with Blade and Soul Neo. Okay, so if JJ's team is in charge of the microtransactions in Blade and Soul Neo, I'm almost positive I would be shocked. I would be shocked if Global Neo was just as pay to win as KR Neo. And I don't know where that line lands right now because I haven't played Neo enough, which is what we're going to do for the next month. But wherever that line may be, if JJ's in charge of the team, I feel like it's going to be less pay to win at the very least. It's not going to be gone. There's no way it's going to be gone. It's going to be objectively pay to win again, but it might be less. Maybe even to the degree of Throne and Liberty. If it's to the degree of Throne and Liberty, I think we're gaming, boys. Because for the most part, I shouldn't say this. Some people are going to look at that and take that out of context, be like, oh, but obviously we would rather not have any pay to win at all, and we should continue to push for that. But if you're going to be a realist here, the game is obviously going to be pay to win. It's already designed around pay to win. By the way, if you didn't know, they have, as far as my understanding goes, they have the same like Lucent like system where you just purchase the currency for their auction house, dude. It's literally the Lucent system all over again. Ain't no way they're gonna be redesigning that entire system for global. Okay. For gameplay, JJ, there isn't much being changed. For gameplay, JJ says there isn't much being changed in Neo from its Korean version. However, she does tell me that their team is paying close attention to the business model, especially whether it'll be accepted here in the West. Fantastic. I got to get an interview here, boys. I got to get an interview and talk to her, and we have to talk about this. We are not changing a lot of things for Blade and Soul Neo. When we played Blade and Soul Neo here in the office, I think the dev team really wanted to make it work well for the global audience. So I think those were the learnings from our past experience. Unfortunately, some of our titles, or most of our titles, had pay-to-win reputation. So there's a big awareness now about that internally. Self-aware. Can I see some awares in chat? Good. This is a good start. I like to hear it. This is coming from the mouth of their director. Guys, this is coming from the mouth of their director. How in touch is this? This is a fantastic statement from their director. I think even for the business models, the devs wanted to make sure this is better. This is going to be well accepted in the West. So we're learning from our live service experience. That's probably the best thing she could have said. As a result of those internal playtests, JJ says her team didn't think a lot of changes need to be made, but that doesn't mean that there won't be changes made in the future as it heads towards launch. NC America doesn't currently have a launch date set, but there are certainly some interesting features to look forward to, especially if you've played the original. As far as everything I know, I think internally they have an idea as to when they're going to be releasing it. And I think we might actually hear that date very, very soon. When was this published? January 14th. This was published recently. Okay. Blade and Soul will feature remastered animations and graphics, boosting the visual quality thanks to a shift to Unreal Engine 4, while combat customization looks to be expanded versus the original. However, for many fans like myself who long for that fluid motion and gravity-defying traversal that helps to define the wuxia experience. There is definitely wuxia in Blade and Soul, but I feel like there's enough lack of when it comes to the wuxia experience to make it appealing to a global audience. Does that make sense? The issue with like a full scent wuxia experience, and we see that with Jade Dynasty, is, believe it or not, a lot of Westerners are not super fond of a wuxia-like thing. It has nothing to do with racism. I'm Asian, and I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of wuxia either. I don't mind. I don't necessarily dislike it, but I'm not the biggest fan either. Infinite Windwalk will be available from the start. It's exciting to think about, and hopefully we won't have too much longer to wait to get hands-on with the MMO when it comes to the West this year. Moving forward, despite its regional sounding name, NC America isn't handling just the Americas. The publishing arm will be responsible for regions such as Europe, both North and South America, as well as Oceania, Australia, and New Zealand markets. While the team might be based out of Irvine, California, that's a tall task. Again, something JJ seems uniquely equipped to help lead, having been in charge of much the same scope at Pearl Abyss America, though it should be noted PA has a European division that took care of things there over there as well. NC America will also have to work with some partners who publish NC Soft games in the West already, such as the aforementioned Amazon Games for Throne and Liberty, as well as a few European publishers with NC Soft titles under their purview. However, it presents an interesting opportunity to truly grow those global ambitions NC Soft has with its games, but it's not going to be easy, especially as hardcore MMOs, especially legacy MMO brands like Lineage, can be hard to get modern MMO fans to give the time of day. Working on Lineage, Blade and Soul, and Ion, just continuing to offer these legacy games can be quite limiting. The MMO genre, according to JJ, is still quite niche, true, and the company needs to do a good job of reaching players where they are. Now, I will say this, though. I agree with this take. However, Blade and Soul is one of those titles where if it's done right, it is possible for it to have a resurgence because of its name brand. And NCSoft did do a good job with creating that franchise creating a franchise as significant as the Lineage franchise, the Blade and Soul franchise, and Ion franchise. I feel like those are their three big game categories, so to speak, right? There are three big franchises that they created that gained immense popularity. You know, it's like the brand is in the name already, which is, in my opinion, probably the reason why they changed Throne and Liberty from Lineage 3. It used to be Lineage 3. They changed to Throne and Liberty. So, of these three here, I mean, they're all really big name franchises, but yeah, Blade and Soul is one of those franchises that could. We'll have to see how they market it. If the game does come out a month from now, they better start. I mean, I would hope they would start marketing this shit soon. There's a limitation as an old IP. We can definitely still work on growing them and continuing to serve the community that loves that IP. But as I said, we're really trying to diversify our portfolio, not meaning to simply bring in more projects to make more money, but there are so many other players. The MMO genre is kind of a niche segment, and most players don't just play one title or stick to one genre. There are some game players I know who only play sports games, only play a certain genre, but most players have their favorite shooter, their favorite MMORPG, where they go back whenever there's a big update. They also play mobile games. So I think we have to see that possibility just to serve our target segment better. We want to provide more, offer more games, and more games that serve our community better. Now, there might be some people that interpret that as, hey, we want to we're not going to just full focus on one title, one game. But I think overall that is a very fair statement, an aware statement. It makes sense. And listen, for me, more games, more better. I'm actually very excited that we're getting a new game. Whether this turns out to be shit or not, the fact that we're getting a new MMORPG just to try, I think is a net W for the MMORPG community. Like I said, even if you just play it for one day and it's over for you, then that's fine. But the more MMOs we get, the better. That's the way I see it.